Hmm.
People are still registering. Can you believe that? But good thing is what I like. People are accustomed with our new technology. They're learning, which is also beneficial for us. And I'm really happy to see the benefits of technology. Can report the victim from very remote area nowadays. So we get concerned. We can try to help them. That is wonderful of the good side of the technology.
Absolutely.
It's,
In fact, because of the pandemic, uh, my people couldn't have in-person services
mhm.
for our high holidays. I'm Jewish, for our high
Right,
holidays.
right,
And I remember our rabbi began the service by saying, look, it's a shame we can't be together because of the pandemic. By the same token, look,
right.
because of technology, we can actually do our observances.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. That's for sure. That's for sure. Well, they also utilizing Facebook. How they torture in our country on make the persecution, false allegation in our country. You know that too, right? That's the bad side of that.
Good afternoon from Canada. I'm from Montreal, and good afternoon to everyone because there's the time difference between California and here. I think 3 hours. Anyways, very nice to see all of you. I'm Shikra Barua. I do work at South Asian Women's Community Center as a community worker. This center exists for 38 years now. We are helping most of South Asian women's regarding their women's right and human rights violation and seriously on this field. But regarding integration and adaptation, we do have mandate with Canadian government for helping new immigrants for integration and adaptation in Quebec. So as you know, we are bilingual province. I mean, not bilingual, but French speaking province. But on the other hand, we have to be bilingual to have services for our community. And yeah, so I'm responsible for coordination for the language class yeah, also at the center. And beside that, I'm a community worker and like a social worker. I'm helping them for their integration, adaptation, and this center is advocacy group. We are helping women to integrate in the mainstream society in here. Very nice to meet you, though.
And welcome to every one of us here. And I'll say, may all beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May all beings be free from sufferings and the cause of sufferings. May all beings rejoice in the well being of others. I, Sneha Shishpriya Barua, Executive Director of Nirban Kami, very happy to act as host of the meeting today. I wish you all the best of for global solutions for global religious freedom challenge. Official event hosted by government of Poland, as you know. November 16, it was Government Day, 17, Civil Society Day, and 17 to 20, all side event will take place as we are here with doing one under IRF. Let's start with an introductory video which may give us a sense of understanding regarding subject matter of today.
Stop the minority prosecution and demand the justice in Bangladesh. Freedom is the fundamental rights of every citizen. Minorities in Bangladesh want to live peacefully. In 1971, Bangladesh was formed to be a secular country, and all citizens of every religious group fought the enemy to gain independence of Bangladesh from Pakistan. Recently, Islamic aggregation and political turmoil have some elite personals taking advantage over minorities in Bangladesh. Systematic minority persecution of non-Muslim has been growing every day. These are few examples. 1. 2012 Ramu riot, 25,000 Muslim miscreant attacked on Buddhist in radius about 50 miles from Cox's Bazar to Pata, Bo Alkali. Hundreds of Buddhist houses was burned, 10 Buddhist temple in Ramu, 9 Buddhist temple in Ukiah, and numerous in other places. Many flee to take refuge in Myanmar and India, yet no justice has ever been served. Criminals were never brought to justice, accuser has been set free. 2. 2016 Kankwari, an indigenous tribal Buddhist monk named Uganda Thera was killed by chopping in piece at his temple, no justice ever been served. His killer has been set free. 3. In 2nd October, 2016, Lama, Chittagong Hill Track, a Buddhist temple was vandalized at night, breaking all Buddha statue. No justice ever been served. 4. 2017 Rangunia, Longadu, over 300 indigenous tribe houses was burnt down, many flee to neighboring countries to India. 5. August 24, 2019, a Buddhist monk, Amritananda Thera, was thrown out to Gomati River from running train at night in Khama. Following the incident, 2 Buddhist temples were destroyed in Bandarban. No justice was ever served. Ramutanaga are now in Rangunia. Venerable Sharanangkar Thera, minorities are victimized, tortured all over the country. Rape, murder, disappearance and harassment are common practice to torture minorities in Bangladesh. Recently, a Buddhist monk was targeted at Philia village, Pajua, Rangunia, Chittagong, Bangladesh. Why he was targeted? He was targeted because he protested for 35 minority families who lost their home, business and farming land to an exuberant political alliance. He couldn't stand the torture at his Buddhist monastery Jayan Sharan Maharanyabadavara, a monastery he built in welfare of people. The Jayan Ashram monastery has an orphanage, kindergarten school, meditation hall, prayer hall and more. Many Buddha statues have built an open space overall. A beautiful scenic environmental friendly Buddhist pilgrimage has developed, which may became concern for local Muslim people. As he developed the premises, so he became enemy to the Muslim leaders, including Information Minister of Bangladesh ruling party and founder of United Muslim Brotherhood Mr. Hassan Muhammad. Sharanangkar Thera started to build a new stupa. He was threatened that if he continued building anything further he will be killed. Member of Bangladesh police force along with Muslim miscreant broke the under construction stupa at the monastery. Sharanangkar Thera videotaped the incident and later dated July 10, 2020. Here the video seeking help from the Honorable Prime Minister Ms. Sheikh Hasina to stop the harassment toward him by police and local miscreants. Muhammad Rashid Mahamud, brother of Information Minister Hassan Mahamud. July 11, 2020. Sharanangkar Thera forced to leave his temple Jayantran Maharanya Buddhist Vara. He left the compound and took refuge in another village 50 miles away at Horapura village, Rojan, Chittagong. After spending a month at a temple in Horapura under the protection of villager, he moved to Dhaka Dharmrajika Buddhist Vara in order to secure the temple and his safe return back to the temple. It wasn't easy for Sharanangkar Thera to leave Horapura village. He was guarded by police. When he was trying to go to Akka he was stopped, but finally Rojan police let him leave. Then, Sharanangkar Thera was stopped again at Mursarai on his way to Dhaka. After short hold, Sharanangkar Thera was allowed to leave for Dhaka Dharmrajika Buddhist Vara, temple. Currently he is staying at Dharmrajika Buddhist Vara under the protection of Buddha Priya Mahadro. Sharanangkar Thera has made several efforts to resolve the situation. Sharanangkar Thera met with Honorable Information Minister Hassan Mahmud, but negotiation is incomplete. Minister Hassan Muhammad has given critical empty promises and fearful punishment. Mr. Hassan Muhammad has let loose his brother Urshad Bahini, Qatar, gang, against Sharanangkar Thera in Rangunia. Series of false accusation, false allegation, and fake news, rallies, shutting down electricity and putting cadres on watch at the street if Sharanangkar Thera returns back to his temple. These are a few incidents of minority persecution going on in Phalia, Pajua, South Rangunia, Chittagong, Bangladesh. These tormenting oppression are taking place under Dr. Hassan Mahmoud's family members' watch conducted by his younger brother Mr. Rashid Muhammad. 1. In 2016, around S mile of the Padua Union, 15 minority Buddhist families were driven out, including Mr. Dadamolindu Barua and Mr. Shamo Barua's family. Beside that, Vishuddhananda Jyotirpal Buddhist temple was destroyed. 2. Rangunia Rajarhat village, Dr. Senyu Barua's land was forcefully taken by them. 3. 100-years-old shop owned and known as Sukindu Sedagaguradakhan was forcefully taken by Hassan and Rashid Bahini. 4. Village Raza Urhat, Rangunia Subdistrict, Tana, Mr. Parimo Barua, Master, Mr. Pradep Barua, Dilip Kumar Barua, Mr. Milan Barua, Mr. Prasenjit Barua lost their property to Muslim by force. 5. Village Sukblash, Padua, Rangunia, Mr. Milan Day was forced to leave his home and lend to the Muslim. In 2016, village Falaria, Vogabenpur, Padua, Rangunia, when constructing pillars for Jain Ashram Maharanya Buddhist Monastery. MD. Rashid Mahmud, younger brother of Information Minister Dr. Hassan Muhammad, destroyed the under construction pillar and beat up Dipankar Biktu and the construction worker. No justice ever been served. Under Muhammad Rashid's leadership, he carried out an effort to drive out, uprooted, 5 Buddhist families, yet no justice has been served. Shilak Union Number 9, under Rangunia Subdistrict, Tana, Muhammad Najrul Islam Talukdura Union Chairman physically tortured wife of Mr. Anil Kanti Barua and drive out from their ancestral home and property. No justice ever been served. July 9, 2020, Police, Forest Department and Rashid Mahmud Group jointly attacked on Jai Entrant Buddhist Monastery and broke the under construction foundation for stupa and verbally abused resident monks, which has been continued now and ever. Muhammad Russell, General Secretary of Awami League Rangunia Branch, a coordinator of Muhammad Rashid Mahmud, filed a lawsuit with false allegation that Sharanangkar Thera used Facebook to insult Prophet Hazrat Muhammad, which is common practice. Tactics used in Bangladesh to accuse minorities. Under this false allegation, Rashid Gang has forced Sharanangkar Thera leaves his temple and he has been under threat to be killed, and they have been continuously protesting against him, demanding to be hanged, which Sharanangkar Thera has nothing to do. A false Facebook account was created and used which belonged to Muhammad Russell, who is an operative of Rashid Muhammad, younger brother of Hassan Muhammad. Following the systematic minority atrocity in Bangladesh, July 12, 2020, electricity was cut off while 50 orphan children along with resident monks living in the monastery. A school and various activities were forced to shut down. A worldwide demonstration has done over the issue for Giant Sharan Maharana Buddhist Vara. Inside Bangladesh, all the protest was driven down and the press was suppressed. Recently, on October 9, 2020, a demonstration was shut down by police, yet media has been spreading negative propaganda against Sharanangkar Thera. Several attempts have tried to resolve the issues, yet the government is numbed and Minister Hassan Mahmud is abusing the power and threatening if anyone speaks out against minority assault. Minorities in Bangladesh are facing an uncertain future. Without any help, they may vanish soon. This needs worldwide attention to save the humanity in Bangladesh. Attention.
And hereby, I would ask Mr. Ronabir Borua, who will tell us why we need your help and we need help of press. Mr. Ronabir Borua, please.
My name is Rangunia Barua. I've been working with human rights groups in New York almost 20 years. So, on behalf of Bangladesh Buddhists based in the USA, we are telling you to Great Depression to seek assistance of you. Stop the ongoing violent persecutions of Bangladesh monks and Buddhist communities, as well as other religions and minorities groups of Rangunia of Chittagong district in Bangladesh. The religious minority Buddhist community, particularly the monks of Rangunia Upazila sub-district in the Chittagong region of Bangladesh, has been subjected to sectarian violence in the past few months. The Buddhists have no way to get the attention of the Prime Minister of the country, Honorable Sheikh Hasina, who alone can readdress their graveness because of one of her follow party members in, in intricately involved involved with violence. An important Awami League cabinet minister, Mr. Hassan Mohamud, has been aiding his brother, Mr. Ashad Mohamud, to grab Buddhist-owned land with um, co- coercion and intimidation. Hence, the attention and assistance of immediately needed for the international community to resolve the issue of Buddhists would not become destitute in their own country to add more insult to the injury. Some previous blasphemy accusations are being raised to harass and attacks law-abiding Buddhist citizens. On Friday, the 9th of July 2020, a group of criminals backed by the local ruling party leaders and police waged an attack on Ganasharan Buddhist monastery located in Falaria under the Rangunia sub-districts in division of Chittagong, Bangladesh. The thugs, one second, the thugs vandalized desecrated the temple, damaged its structure, and verbally threatened Buddhist monk Sharanangkar Thera. They ordered them to leave. They order him to leave Bangladesh of or face death. The evidence of the mistreatment of the monks was captured in a video. Buddhist monks being abused in Rangunia. After the incident, Sharanangkar Thera, the venerable principal of the Ganesharan monastery, posted a video on a Facebook seeking justice from the Honorable Prime Minister of the country. But the brother of Minister Hassan Mohammed has bribed the connected government people to the make sure that the suffering of the Buddhist community do not reach to the Prime Minister's office. After the incident, they did not stop there. Those criminal thugs created a fake Facebook ID and posted slurs against Islam and it is its prophet to accuse the mailings and principal monk of the monastery to color the land grabbing as a communal conflict in the face of a death threat and anticipating further violence. The venerable monk moved to another monastery, but that did not help to claim the situation. The criminal thugs disconnected the power supply to the monastery and thus forcing the monks, some being in a late teens, to live in subhuman condition, while death threats were being issued at regular intervals to vacate the monastery. Under those grim circumstances, on behalf of this persecuted religious minority of Bangladesh, we would like to request you to highlight and publicize the ongoing harassment of Buddhist monk Venerable Sharanangkar and the Buddhist minorities in Bangladesh. We appeal to all of you to draw the attention of the international community to the unjust and ongoing harassment so that international community is full aware of the pogrom that has been aided and edited by none other than a Bangladeshi minister Hassan Mohammed. A Buddhist monk has renounced of his material and earthly desires and he wants nothing but to serve his and other communities. Would he allow another minister's brothers to grab a monastery land to give green signals to grab more minority owned properties and land? No justice to the minorities. Would anybody care about the Buddhist plight in Bangladesh when the Buddhists have been living there since the Ashoka's time? We urge you to convey this message to the Honorable Prime Minister of Bangladesh to make sure that the Prime Minister knows what they've been going on in Rangunia, Bangladesh. By so doing, you can prevent another Ramo riots in which 25,000 Islamists gutted multiple Buddhist and Hindu villages. Please help us to combat this religious propaganda and persecution to minorities in Bangladesh and promote religious freedom for the minorities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hereby, I would like to request Mr. Suhash Barua, who will read on behalf of Venerable Sharanangkar Bhante the petition to Honorable Prime Minister of Bangladesh. Mr. Suhash.
Thank you, everybody. I'm reading on behalf of the victim monks, Venerable Sharanangkar. To the Honorable Prime Minister, Madam Sheikh Hasina, the People's Republic of Bangladesh, a request for safe return of Venerable Sharanangkar Thera to his temple at Gyanasharan Maharana Buddhist Vihara, as well justice for all victims. Honorable Prime Minister, your contributions to transforming Bangladesh built in the dream of father of the nation Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman into a golden Bengal is undeniable. Mother and motherland are truly greater than heaven. You are the mother of humanity. Your love for the orphans, helpless, and homeless people are unconditional. You are the last refuge of the oppressed person like me. As a Buddhist monk in 2008, I started meditation at various crematorium sites and around the forest. When I was meditating, my location was known among the people. Curiosity had begun among the devotees in 2012. Continuing my spiritual journey and meditation, I have come to establish Gyanasharan Maharana Buddhist Monastery with the help and donations from the people at Falaharia village of Rangunia in Chittagong. The monastery is located about 4 kilometers from the village into the deep forest. Dear Prime Minister, I believe in building golden Bangladesh. I must contribute to the country according to my ability. Whenever my devotees, followers donate me, I want to pay it back for the community. Because of that, I have been keeping doing some good works for the welfare of the people. There was no school in the village of Falaharia or nearby. For the welfare of the villagers and interest, I came forward to establish a school and orphanage for the poor and orphan children. Besides school and orphanage, I implanted thousands of trees around the monastery, school, and orphanage. Over time, when my name was getting noticed, I became the people's favorite. Many people came to me to complain against thugs and miscreants about extortion, illegal occupation of people's land, business, extracting sand from the canal, cutting forest trees for illegal trade by a local influential leader, Mr. Eshad Mahmood, happens to be the younger brother of Information Minister of Bangladesh, Dr. Hassan Mahmood. When I approached Mr. Eshad Mahmood, complained to occupying some houses and land, I became an eyesore to him. Since then, the level of torture has gone up. They insulted me at my monastery and other monks on the premises. I failed to convince him against all his misdeeds. I could not stand his verbal torture, oppression, and violent interferences. I was desperate to seek help without finding any solution to such oppression and persecution. To seek help, I came live on Facebook on July 10, 2020, and tried to highlight the issues as much as possible to get your attention, Honorable Prime Minister. When I posted the video on Facebook seeking help in fear of vengeance, I received a phone call, phone threat to remove the video message. I find it very inappropriate because As a free citizen of Bangladesh, I believe I have the right to speak freely, the right to freedom of speech. Therefore, I refuse to remove the video from Facebook account. On my refusal, Mr. Ashad Mahmood and his gang started a farce on me at my monastery complex as well elsewhere. It was the beginning of a fierce, violent treatment of me. As it grows ugly and dangerous, I decided to move out of the temple in fear of my and other lives. When I moved out of Rangunia on my way to Raujan, I took shelter in a temple at a village of Huarapara, about 50 kilometers from the present location. When my devotees escorted me out from the Gyanaswaran Maharana monastery, Mr. Ashad and his gang attacked me with a fake allegation of religious insult by creating a fake Facebook account named Rumu Himu using my photos. Using newly created Facebook ID, Mr. Tito Barua, a paid employee of Ashad Mahmood, and a local Maulana Hakimuddin created propaganda and filed a false lawsuit using the Digital Security Act. They did not stop there. To start a communal riot, they started false propaganda using electronics media, protesting on the street against me with a false slur. Meanwhile, when Mr. Rashad and his goons were having a street protest, he was directing the propaganda at the protest while he was talking to a protester from his Pajero Jeep van. He was unaware of the mic of the live streaming when he offered money to the protester. It was broadcasted on TVs, recorded on electronics media, Facebook, and more. Hearing this propaganda and conspiracy against me, I took the initiative to come to Dhaka, dreaming of meeting the Honorable Prime Minister. This is my only chance, and I hope to express my pain in front of you. Your Excellency, Madam Sheikh Hasina, I had presented this whole issue many times to the Information Minister, Dr. Hassan Mahmood, while he was an Environment and Forest Minister in 2014. He, wa- he verbally promised me that he would solve the issues, but he never did. Instead, his younger brother are causing communal issues among the villagers as well against me. Reaching at Dhaka Dharmarajika Buddhist temple with help and advice from Venerable Buddha Priya Mahatero, we concluded to meet Information Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmood as it was advised me with other fellow monks and community leaders. We visited Dr. Hassan Mahmood's home office on August 11, 2020. Dr. Mahmood asked me to give him a written application for all the issues listed. I requested to return all the lands and business his brother and the gang occupied over the victim's time period. Also a public request to demand some more land to establish a hospital and a senior shelter. Her Excellency, you must know that our village is in remote areas. There is no school, college, or hospital near around. There were no roads because of the Shillok Canal stream current. A bridge was built, but again, because of the great demand of commercial sand trading, the bridge is under a serious risk of breaking down. As a whole, in greater concern as a citizen of Bangladesh, I present my concern and general people's welfare in front of Dr. Mahmood. Some well-wishers advised that the government could allocate some land to build hospitals and other facilities around the monastery for the villagers with the donors' help. It seems logical, so I requested allocating hundreds acres of land for future projects to the Ministry of Environment and Forest. And Information Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmud recommended that from the next day onwards, Mr. Ershad's gang started spreading false propaganda and that I was making excuse to get the land for my personal profit. Luckily, the people were more aware than before that this propaganda did not last. They were doing one after another false propagandas like slandering me that I have occupied Hindu shrines and temples to conflict between Buddhists and Hindus. They also failed in that the proofs of all incidents were given in the final attachment. My well-wishers did not get permission to protest on the street for all injustice against me, but Mr. Ashad and his gang have been spreading false propaganda, forming a street protest under the police patronage to destroy my monastery and other facilities at the instigation of Mr. Ashad Mahmud. 28 false allegations have been filed in different courts, including unknown cases are 10 to 15, and they disconnected the electricity supply. Result, orphan children and novice bhikkhus are living in human condition without electricity at my monastery in the forest. For the past 4 months, I have wanted to go back there and have been forcibly detained in various ways at Dhaka Dharmarajika Buddhist Monastery. Today, I am writing this letter to you, Honorable Prime Minister, helplessly, so that with your intervention, I can go back to the unsupervised monks and orphan children who grew up in the forest monastery of Rangunia and dedicate the rest of my life to their welfare. Peace be upon you and every living being in the universe. May all beings be happy. Sincerely, Bhikkhu Sharanangkar Thera, founder director Gyanasharan Maharana Buddhist Vihara and Complex, Village Falaharia, Post Office, North Padua, Police Station, Rangunia District, Chittagong, Bangladesh. That's all. Thank you.
I think Mr. Ban and everybody
Right.
knows about Mr. Advocate Ravindra Ghosh, which is a great man for Bangladesh, who is working every day and going to every day to the field where persecution is happening. He don't care about if it is Buddhist, Hindu, Christian, even minority Muslims. He goes there, he take care of that business. Okay, so, well, here a lot of important people with us. We are very fortunate, like Nicole Spafford from Switzerland. I think a lot of people know about her. We are proud that she is with us today. And Mr. Ban, everybody knows. So can I have attention for Nicola? Miss Nicola, Ma'am Nicola, can you unmute your mic and have a blessings and tell about something to us?
Good evening, everybody, and bravo for putting this together. This is a terrible story and makes a great deal of harm when we know that you are a secular country.
Right.
But sadly, your Honorable Prime Minister doesn't seem able to control this, because for how long have you been suffering, and how long have the Buddhists been suffering? And what is so worrying is the fact that the young people of Bangladesh are still seeing this hate where they should be learning love and tolerance.
Right.
How can we teach that with the Prime Minister should be the leader for this? Because look at what's happening all around the world with religions. Religions are supposed to be loving each other and doing good things for each other. And seemingly in too many countries, the Buddhists are suffering. And yet the Buddhists and Buddha said we must look after the earth, which is what we're trying to do. Avoiding the climate change, we've gone too far because we haven't listened. And now I think that surely in Bangladesh with the teaching staff and whatever you have, your school, which is wonderful to have the young Buddhists, but in all the schools, there should be the possibility for the young to learn about the climate, about nature. And if you come around with learning with young children and people about nature, eventually they understand that that's what the Buddha had taught and people have been teaching for thousands of years. So in fact, if we'd respected the earth as we should have done, we wouldn't be in this climate mess, if I can say the mess. So I think there's a lot to do with certainly with the secular, because surely are all the children going to school, and what are they being taught? I mean, there must be surely a modern movement with what we're seeing as climate change to teach the young children or the young people and give them a voice, like we've had the Greta Thunberg, the Swedish young girl who came forward. And I think that is probably the group of people who should be supported by the Honorable Prime Minister and also by the population until there is tolerance, because as long as we go on seeing the violence, I'm afraid that makes the hate. And how can we get rid of that? So I think that what you're doing is defending a wonderful situation with the monk who's given his life and who's trying to change and help young people and communities, and he should be known worldwide. It's very important what you're doing to make this known worldwide, but also the teaching of what is secularism. I mean, we've been seeing the problems in France. You think France is supposed to be a secular country, and yet there are people creating these terrible crimes. So it would be good through Buddhism to be able to share, and I think to influence the young, very important, and the Honorable Prime Minister should take this and be encouraged to take this as, if you can say, her flag in this present day. It's surely that generation and the younger ones that we're trying to save the earth for, and they must be included and make their choice and be able to understand. So it's a question of understanding. And I think with what the Honorable Monk says, and he understands, and the Buddhist teaching, it's most important to aid and help the learning facilities all over the country. And I hope perhaps from Switzerland we can help this, and certain organizations. So, but bravo for organizing this, and I hope it will make a big impression, and the press will share this, and hopefully there will be a change, and the government, like so many governments, and look at all the impression we have right now, corruption seems to be all over and not thinking of the others. So you have a country which should think of the other, and we have a Buddhist thinking, which is to think of the other and to think of the earth. So thank you so much for inviting me, and this is all I can say. And hopefully the Honorable Prime Minister will really feel that she must make this difference, and she must stop this and forget perhaps too much of this influence and money and corruption for the good of a lovely country like Bangladesh, which has so much to gain and live happily and peacefully for all. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Draw the attention of Mr. Richard Bankin, very reputed for his work worldwide. If he can give us a guidance or a kind of source of advice.
Thank you very much. The first thing I'm going to, I feel like I should say is that story was touching. It was sad. It's terrible what happened to our friend. I want to add a few things, however. As we know, he's not alone. This happened, and no single religious community is alone. I'm glad someone mentioned many Muslims who do not observe Islam in the way that other people would like often are victims. However, I want to be very clear about something. I would have a real problem with this letter for two reasons. One, because it's so long. No one's going to read that much. I mean, that's just reality. We might be concerned, and we might feel very, very strongly about it, but no one's going to read that much. Moreover, I have to tell you, too much of the letter was spent in praising Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Now, there was a time, and by the way, this is for the benefit of GDFI people and others who have informants here. Know this, because this is a reckoning that is coming now internationally. There was a time when people might believe that Bangladesh was this chaotic basket case, but we know that's not the case anymore. That Bangladesh has become much more organized. Sheikh Hasina may not know of the specific incidents that we report and that was reported today. But anyone who thinks that Sheikh Hasina does not know this stuff is going on is deluding themselves. And people who believe that Sheikh Hasina couldn't stop most of it by herself is deluding themselves. Telling Sheikh Hasina about these things is not going to make a difference. As I say in the work that I do, that government, the government, the Awami League and Bangladesh government will never do the right thing for minorities simply because it's the right thing. And we need to understand that. They will not do the right thing because it's a matter of justice. If you recall, not too long ago, Sheikh Hasina stood up and gave very, very full-throated support to Bangladesh's anti-blasphemy laws, which we all know, are used to suppress free speech and freedom of religion. So I do have to take issue with all the praise of Sheikh Hasina. I feel sorry for her, by the way. That poor person has put up with more than most people ever will. Her entire family, with the exception of one sister, was murdered. And then at a rally not that many years ago, there was an attempt on her life. There were bombs at her. So I do feel sorry for her, and I do understand that she comes from a very difficult perspective. However, she has the power in Bangladesh. And I got to tell you, I've heard this from members of the Awami League who are scared to death to say anything, because they're not only concerned that something's going to happen to them, they know, and people who are familiar with Bangladesh know this is true, they are concerned that reprisals will be taken on their families as well. So let's be very clear about what's going to move the needle, what's going to change the situation for Buddhists, Hindus, and others. So I'll give you an example. So since I'm from the United States, I think in terms of the United States, and it's in the United States where I have some contacts and influences. The Bangladeshi economy has recently, last several years, have done remarkable things. I'm talking about before COVID. It's actually lifted Bangladesh out of the category of least developed countries. It's a remarkable economic miracle that Bangladesh has experienced, and I think we should all be very, very, very happy for that. At the same time, remember, I brought this up because of what we can do. As an American, I know that the Bangladeshi economy is inordinately dependent on their ready-made garment exports. Without those exports, the economy is really in trouble. Who do you think is the biggest customer of these exports? It's my country. It's the United States. Another thing that the Bangladeshi economy is dependent on are the millions of dollars in receipts it receives every month for participating in UN peacekeeping missions. So I'll ask again, who do you think funds UN peacekeeping missions? The taxpayers of the United States fund about 25%. I think China funds maybe 10, 12%. No other country even breaks double digits. They're all very small. Without US support for those peacekeeping missions, it falls apart. My point is this. Bangladesh will only change these things when their interests are seriously jeopardized. And so that's why I spend time working with people at the State Department, Senate, the Congress, on doing something along those lines. I'll mention something else. I don't know if my brother, Rabindra Ghosh, is still on the phone. He is someone who I pray for every day and who is my great brother. But recently he was in a Bangladeshi police station, and all he was doing was trying to represent his client, because we know he is a great advocate as well. And while he was there with two other attorneys, they were beaten in the police station. It was October 16th. They were beaten in the police station with police approval. And since that time, they will not accept his FIR. He has let cabinet ministers know about it. And again, if you think Sheikh Hasina doesn't know that bad things are happening to people like my brother, you're deluding yourself. Bangladesh will not prosecute these criminals, just as they won't prosecute the criminals of our friends who spoke earlier. And so, through the International Religious Freedom Roundtable, I put together a letter for the U.S. ambassador in Bangladesh. I've also, and it's going out today, I'm also sending copies to the appropriate congressional leaders. The point of this, I only want one thing to come out, well, two things. One, they need to know that my brother needs to have protection, and they need to protect my brother. That's number one. But the other thing that's really important, I want Sheikh Hasina and the Bangladeshi government to know that the U.S. is looking at this. The U.S., whose citizens buy their garments, the U.S., who provides the money for their peacekeepers, I want them to know that the U.S. is looking at this and doesn't like it. I really am not wishing that something bad happened to the people that work, the millions of Bangladeshis that work in the garment industry. I'm not wishing that thousands and thousands of young, armed, unemployed men who are on peacekeeping missions are now sent back to Bangladesh. I'm not wishing any of these things happen. I am hoping that just the likelihood of something happening will be enough to get Bangladesh to start changing what it does. And what are these things that it does? First thing, number one, remember, let's try and take it away, take it out of the context of, oh, this is against the Hindus, this is against the Buddhists, or whatever. The key issue, and anyone here who is an attorney will recognize this, the key issue is that the rule of law in Bangladesh does not exist. Millions and millions, tens of millions of Bangladeshi citizens are not able to gain protection under the law. In other words, we're not asking Bangladesh to have a revolution, to throw out their leaders, to scrap their constitution. We're merely saying that Bangladesh is not following its own constitution. We're merely saying that countries that refuse to apply the rule of law should not be countries that we consider friends. They should not be countries that we pay to send their people out to do peacekeeping elsewhere when they can't keep peace at home. That's what we want. And so the way to do it is to let them know that there are going to be real consequences. And let me mention something else with regard to the garment industry. They have a significant portion of the American market, and that brings them a lot of money. Good for Bangladesh, and good for the people of Bangladesh. However, if we place that market at risk, and Bangladesh does not take the steps we know it must take, it's going to lose part of that market. And even if they come back later and make changes, I can tell you, because I was in American businesses for years, if they lose that part of the market to, say, one of the free trade countries of Latin America or to India, if they lose that, they're not getting it back. And the people that get thrown out of work will not get their jobs back. Bangladesh has to take the correct action, because I'm telling you, I'm never going to stop pushing this. And my friends in Washington are eventually going to take action. That's what we have to do. Now, what can I ask from you? Two things. I mentioned earlier, join our South Asia Working Group, because we are focused on what we can actually do, not on having a meeting and telling us what we already know, telling each other what we already know. You know, there are other forums where that's important, but not in the working group. We actually expect to get things done. So I urge everyone to join that. I put my email in the chat. What you have to do is email me with give me your email, your name, and your organization, and you'll get a notice for the working group. Secondly, the other thing that is very, very important, if we're going to convince people, whether they be in Washington or Brussels or New Delhi or anywhere else, if we're going to convince people of what's going on, we have to be pristine. We have to be absolutely perfect in the information we provide. So I'll give you an example. I took a look at about 135 anti-Hindu attacks that took place during Bangladesh's initial COVID lockdown. Because it seemed to me, if Bangladesh was enforcing, social distancing and similar restrictions in the country, but they never enforced it on people who attacked minorities, that shows the commitment they have to eliminating minorities in Bangladesh, especially if the government will not enforce those laws and people will go ahead and risk getting COVID by doing it. So I looked at about 135 incidents. These are multi-crime incidents, some horrendous crimes. And here's the point. I'll bet maybe all of those 135 were correct. Certainly a lot of them were, but I threw out all except 85. Why? Because with 85, I could demonstrate very clearly that these actually happen. And how do I do that? If I'm not there witnessing it myself, if I have 2 or more independent witnesses, and I emphasize the word independent. And then the other thing is the detail that I provide. Because if you just give general information, it's hard for people to nail it down. But if you provide specific information, what you're saying is, what I'm telling you is strong enough that it can survive any attempts at denials. And so that was the other thing. Of those 85s, I had very specific information. What was the date? What was the time? Where was it? What village, upazila, district, and division. What exactly happened, who the victims were, the names of the victimizers, and then, and this is really important, what did the government and police do or not do about it? That is so very, very important because we know that Bangladesh is not doing, say, like Pakistan. Bangladesh is, the government's actually not attacking these people. Some individuals might, but it's not government policy to attack minorities. But what they do, they enable others to do their dirty work for them, and then they will not prosecute. So that's very important. When I talk to people in Washington, that's what I talk about. Because by not doing it, they're telling all the miscreants, you can go ahead and attack Buddhists and Hindus, and nothing will happen to you. So in other words, those are 2 things I want to emphasize again. Our working group, because it's part of IRF especially, we're focused on actually doing specific things. Secondly, the quality of the information when you report an incident is so very, very important. All right? So that would be my thing. Again, I would not go into, again, if you think letting Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina know about this is going to make a difference, I think you're sadly mistaken.
Thank you very much, Mr. Richard, for your valuable information you provided to us. 100% I'm agree with you, and all of us should be agree with you because there is no otherwise. I believe so. It is a fact that we did not expect it from this only government a lot of things, but facts and figures says just opposite, saying that in this government's time, we are seeing the highest rate of persecutions on minorities. But this government saying they are friendlier with minority peoples. They are secular government. But unfortunately, I don't understand what facts and figures says. There is you are. I'm sorry, you are saying we understand, we agree with you, we have respect with you, towards you, but ask yourself, please government, ask yourself, why then your facts and figure is telling opposite? Why your facts and figures of persecution on minorities saying opposite, telling highest amount of incidents happening in this country right at this moment? Again, see, there is 2 points I find out from my research is this. Not only Bangladesh, most of the country, they don't know how to report a human rights. What to report a human rights incidents. They thought they had to go to the police stations, but on those kind of country, police stations really don't all the time helpful, don't even take the cases, prosecution. And not only this, I also find out, Mr. Ban, from my investigations, a lot of people even don't know what is the human rights declaration when actually human rights is violated. So I'm working on it with, I'm on the part of actually right now with the IRF, and I also already submitted some project saying we need to actually make some project on those countries, not only Bangladesh, where we have to utilize, explain them in their own language, not English, because a lot of people is not literate. So we have to explain them what is human rights violations, what it covers, and how to report. Because nowadays you can report to United Nations directly by an email. A lot of people don't know those kind of facts. So what happens? The country report coming from different country like this country are actually camouflage, not fake and fake, not the real reports. We don't know even though those countries press and information is like hidden. You see, so talk in favor of the government. I'm not talking only Bangladesh. I'm trying to giving you my findings. So I'm working with it, and I of course we work with like an expert like Mr. Ban, and here we have several others. This is one fact I find out, and I already established it to the Victoria, and I'm working. I already submitted to different authority my idea of this. And then second idea is there is some mischief. There is some brokers. So, for example, we made a report. For example, I already in contact with European Parliament, right? I'm already in contact with different Australian Parliament. I'm already in contact with United Nations, for example. And then what they do, for example, United States will talk, or Sri Lankan embassy, like I contacted, and the Foreign Minister of Sri Lanka keep me in email and asked his ambassador to follow up the incidents, right? Then what they will do, they will send a representative to the government, or looking for a people of Buddhist community, right? Buddhist community leader, right? Now, if that Buddhist community leader or Hindu community leader or Christian community leader or Muslim minority community leader is a mischief, is a broker, is not a good person, then what happens? Then he said just like this, oh, there is nothing wrong in Bangladesh or such a country like that. So when we talk about the Buddhists are tortured or Hindus are tortured, here is another kind of like a loophole in this world going on right at this moment. So I find out to this point, and we are working on it. Like for at this moment, I saw there is a Hindu, Buddhist, Christian Unity Council working in Bangladesh, who's supposed to work for as a great platform for minorities. And what happens? We see like Advocate Ranadash Gupta, that he works for this organization and supposed to talk, supposed to act like a secular person, right? But recent activities, we saw he took the case in favor of a Hindu criminal, I should say. I should not say criminal, but there is too much visual proof against him, and he is now in jail. But he took the case for him and saying that, oh, I am a secular person, I'm a lawyer, so I took his case. But when we tell him our story, he's not taking our case. And when there is some like a human chain going on behalf of these institutions, he is giving anti-statement. You see what I'm saying? So these peoples like a mischief of our community, peoples also making this kind of problem more kind of more diplomatically not solvable. You see what I'm saying? Another kind of obstacles we have to keep in mind, because like before, from outside of the world or developed world, people would think, oh, okay, I'm sending my people talk to them, and they say, like this government saying, oh, in my government I have minority minister, I have people from representing from minorities, so my government has nothing wrong. But here is the problem. If that minority people who is representative of minority in your regime, in your group, if they are not a good people, if they are like a criminal people, then what happens? They are worse than the peoples we are fingering on, right? So that becomes a really crucial problem over, I think, all over the world. Anyway, I think so already a lot of people knows about it. So we're working on those kind of figures and facts. Hopefully, jointly, we can win the race. Suzuki, how about you? You are working with these facts a while in Japan. So can you share with us something about these incidents, or how you feel, how you can do with us, what can you do with us? Mr. Suzuki, please.
I'm a member of a Buddhist organization in Japan, Tokyo, in Japan, and I'm very much worried about the current situation of Bangladesh. So I've joined here to know and understand the situation, the tragic situation of Bangladesh, because I'm not familiar with your country's circumstances, but I'm wondering what I could be of any help to solve this problem, to protect peace and justice in Bangladesh. So, as a Buddhist in Japan, and I heard from Bangladesh members in Japan and about they are worried about their country's situation. So I should know, first of all, understand the situation. But from today's talk, I learned the very complicated, difficult problems you have. So I'd like to do anything if I could be helping in any way this situation. Thank you very much.
How about Mr. Arun Dotto?
I'd like to thank everybody for joining. It's a very serious issue in our country, back home in Bangladesh, about the minorities problems. I would like to thank Mr. Richard Benkin personally, and to Mr. Aurobindo, Advocate Ravindra Ghosh, Madam Nicola Spafford, and all other people from our country. So I'd like to thank Snehasis also for organizing such a wonderful event. And as Mr. Richard Benkin, everybody else also know about what's going on in Bangladesh. As Mr. Richard Benkin mentioned, that Sheikh Hasina, she knows everything. There is no doubt about it that she knows everything, but they don't have any intention to act. And if the government wants to stop it, it can be stopped instantly. She has that kind of power. There is no doubt about it. And even if you talk about Allah, Allah gave her that power. There is no doubt about it. She can do anything. If she can hang Saka Chaudhry, the 1971 war criminal, he could hang that person. He was the most powerful person in Bangladesh. He could hang her. So she has that power. She could stop this kind of atrocities any moment if she wished to. If she forget what's happened to her family, we really feel sorry for that. But this is what happened, because our great leader, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. He was so kind to everybody. He did not punish the criminals, those who are criminal, those who commit the crime during 1971. He did not punish them. So, and that is the result he got. I'm very sorry to say that if before it gets too late, she has to take action against all these criminals and to save the minority community in Bangladesh, because in 1971 we fought for this country. It's not that we did not participate in the freedom fighting. We did fought for the country. When I came back to Bangladesh in 1971 after independence, we did not have anything. Our house was burned. We did not have any belongings. With minus we started, from the scratch we started in Bangladesh again. Still I have my family members in Bangladesh. We never gone back to any other country. I came to Canada because of the same reason. In 1973, to tell you honestly, I'd like to tell you, 1973, just after independence of Bangladesh, I felt like I was a college student at that time. I felt like this country is not ours. At that time, I felt it. Now everybody understands this. Every day, things are getting bad. Every day is happening, and government is not taking any initiative. Every day in Bangladesh, some sort of atrocities are going on, like the Chittagong hill tracks. They started it when Ziaur Rahman came in power after 1975. Ziaur Rahman infiltrated. He put Bengalis people to settle there in the Chittagong hill tracks. It was all by the native people of that area. Now they are minority there. This is what the government did, and they came with an agreement in 1996. This government with the Chittagong hill tracks people, which called the Shanti Chukti or peace agreement with that people, but that has not been implemented. And like our people, the Hindus, Buddhist, Christians in Bangladesh, our property was being treated as enemy property. And that was a rule made by the Pakistan government. And that is still same rule is there. Under that act, they confiscate our properties. Nobody get the property back yet. Senior government did some amendment in that act, but nobody get any property so far. Recently, they announced that the property of minorities, they will distribute it to the landless people. This is what they come up with. So, as Mr. Benkin said, that this government will not do anything. This is what I don't want to believe that. I want to keep faith on the government. She has that power to do everything in Bangladesh. So I hope she will do that, and we would like to request her to do that. Thank you very much for everybody joining, and I would like to express my interest to work with all the groups, those who are working for Bangladeshi minorities, including Mr. Richard Duncan.
But I think Khalilur Rahman also with us from Switzerland. Can you share with us a few words, Mr. Rahman?
I am agree with your demonstration, your manifestation. I am supported.
Fantastic.
Thanks,
Sounds like that. Sounds good. How about Shipra Barua? Do you want us to tell something? Shipra Barua? Please.
First of all, thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. And my question to our respected guest and the activist. So what would be our strategy to have those community members who has been suffering in Bangladesh for years together? Because the opposition party, they do have the strategy using the fake ID, tracking on them, and united, and they are in the mandatory activities of just removing all the minorities from this soil. But what would be our strategy to protect them, to make sure them they are insecure, or for further incident, what would be the process, what would be the procedure to get rid or to reach out the resources? Thank you very much. This is my question to our respected knowledgeable activist.
Here I'll take the opportunity, actually, the way I saw this problem. This is not the problem particularly only for Bangladesh.
For sure not.
This problem exists everywhere.
You are right.
I can tell you, like, for example, in United States, recently we saw Black Lives Matter, like George Floyd, right? So crime happens everywhere. We are not,
Everywhere.
now the question is rate. How much, that is the question. How much is happening? In Bangladesh, a country like that, its rate is very high. But the straight answer or short answer of this is law and order is not established. So more law and order is in vulnerable position, you will have a increasing rate in those kind of countries. That's what I see. For example, let's say now there's also kind of how much people are educated, how much people are know the know-how. Like I said, in previously in Bangladesh, like Mr. Richard Banking started his voice today saying it's going up. I mean, it's doing better increasingly. Like 10 years back from today, it is good, better, but it will be more better. For example, and let me tell you one thing. Think about Facebook, the media or technology in Bangladesh. Every day, people are learning. Like today, our people learned how to participate in this meeting, right? So they are learning use of technology, so they can communicate to each other. They can communicate, make this world transparent to the other people, right? So the crime can come out to the media. Even some people will try to torture you, and if you have a communication tool like media or all those things, that will come out, so you can have a protest. So I'll give you an example. For example, I was trying to give this plan to Bangladesh government. Say, when it is happens in USA, George Floyd case, what happens? How we know about that fact? Why we don't know when the police do in Bangladesh that kind of facts? Simple matter. Here in USA, all police has a body cam. All police has a body cam. Now, all of a sudden, they will say, oh, body cam is expensive. No, sir, it is not expensive. Average cost of body cam is only few dollars. Only few dollars, around 2,500 taka, probably, which is like a couple of bucks, which is very affordable for even a poor country. The much salary we pay to a policeman, if we put on his body, like when it happens here in USA, even though a country where we have check and balance, but body cam took the whole thing of the crime. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of planning we needed to get out of. That can be a one single piece I'm talking about. There should be a lot more. That's what we need to work together. We need your views. We need our views. We need to push them to implement. You see what I'm saying? So there is, yes, Mr. Banking, I think he is waiting to say some more thing. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Whenever you're finished.
No, go ahead, because I am very much, very respectful. I know you. So please go ahead. You're the priority, please.
You are absolutely right about body cams.
Right.
I would say if you live in places where there's no body cams,
right.
You know what I have had people do?
Right.
This.
Exactly. So that's what Mr. Bankin. Let me explain to you what I did last 3 years. I'm like around touching 60 years old and nearby. So all of my life savings, I started donating in Bangladesh with my own personal finance. 75 Buddhist temples. I donated each temple 4 computer, 4 sewing machine, and make a 5-man committees to train them, and then explain them, like you said, hey, something happens, this is how you make the video, post it to the Facebook. That's how we are getting more better situation right now. Like, for example, Ramu incidents happens. That time we couldn't even control, right? Remember that 2012 incidents? But this time when it happens, because I did that kind of, works, I teach them what is, how to use computer, how to use Facebook, how to use, even from the remote. So now, at least we get a bridge, communication bridge, you said. So now we have started getting the info, at least the passing info. So that's what I was telling you right before, that I am also planning, if we can teach them, what is the human rights violations on even online classes, and then teach them what to report, what is the format, there is a special format to report, right? All those kinds of things that will make a big changes, I believe, because I very closely working with different countries like India, Bangladesh, and I was surprised. Very renowned human activists in those countries, working like 20, 30 years, like an advocate, don't know how to report United Nations. I was saying, what are you doing? Oh, I report to my country, my ministry. That's not going to help you. So that's not change your country report. You see what I'm saying? So country report in a that way is biased, actually. You see what I'm saying? Mr. Ban.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's great. I want to add to that.
Sure.
I want to add to that. So I learned very early on when I started doing this.
Right.
You might ask yourself, here I am, I'm an American.
Right.
What business do I have coming to Bangladesh or
Right.
Pakistan or anywhere? Who am I to preach to someone about human rights? And that's a very good question, because I should not and am not, I do not fancy myself as the British Raj. I'm not the new British Raj. And it's very important that you not be one, that I not be one. So I learned early on when I was doing human rights work that just as we just heard, these things, minorities unfortunately are attacked everywhere. That's a sad fact. And as we saw in my own country with the George Floyd case. But the question is this: when that happens, what does the government do? So we saw in the United States, my country went through tremendous upheavals. We're seeing change. We're not perfect yet. We're not there yet, but it's an ongoing process. And that includes officials who got voted out of office. That includes, like in my town, Chicago, that's include police who end up going to jail for doing this stuff. The question is, what does the government do? And in Bangladesh, as we've seen, the government doesn't do anything about it. And that's really the issue you want to focus on. Because otherwise they can come back and say, yeah, well, what about what's going on in your country? Whether it's in the United States or someone brought up France recently, today, that's the key. What has the government done about it? And if we focus on that, and again, just like I said before, you don't let up. You keep doing it again and again and again and again, no matter how much they oppose you, you beat them with your facts. And as if you're good with technology and you have something on on recorded, it's pretty hard for people to deny that it happens when you have it recorded. So
Exactly.
but that's the key. What does the government do about it? The Bangladeshi government for decades has done nothing when minorities are attacked.
Shipra Barua, please go ahead.
My feelings and my observation, I raised up in that country, and a little back to the history. I will not take you much time, but 2 minutes only. So as the national election happened in 1970, and after that the country got the freedom, and it was secular country. And 1975, when Sheikh Mujibur Rahman died, and after that, 1979, they made the amendment to the legislation that it is not a secular country. Then, gradually, 1988, it was Fifth Amendment, and the Eighth Amendment is that it is not totally a secular country anymore. So after that, gradually what is happening, and it has been happening, and we are getting the result today. So in their intention, we have to see the other way around. All over the world, we are screaming, we're fighting, we are on the street, we are doing activists, we are on the street, and we are taking their cases, and we are analyzing everything. But in the my feelings is that in their education system, the intention, the education from their childhood has not been changed at all. On the other hand, the impact of the legislation is going profoundly deeper and deeper and deeper. So this is the consequences. And not only today for the Sharanangkar Bhante, and in future, we might see. I am very much agree with other activists that yes, Bangladesh is flourishing a lot, and we are very happy, we are proud of them because they are doing hard working like a government's work and this and that. But on the other hand, the intention is profoundly deeper in their blood, in their education system. When the child is learning this way and that way, and they are reacting, and this is the consequences. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. I mean, it's wonderful. We want more voices like that, and that's how we can do something. We need to be united, like Mr. Benson, and I'm seeing the result out of that. More I get in touch with Bangladeshi people. I'm working also in Indian Indian peoples, even some in Pakistani people. So everywhere, every country I can reach, and I saw we have a problem of greeds. You know that, right? Everybody has this. Without, it's not a question of which religions it belongs to. It's a human instinct. So we all have this. So more we have a better practice in life, more we individual can be happy, then society can be happy too. So we want to learn more peacefully living together. We have to learn more stay together, feel each other. That's the way to do it. But unfortunately, it's happening everywhere. So we want to unite together. We want to practice together to having a peaceful life. As far I believe, everybody wants to. And this is a challenge right now everywhere. And a lot of people like Madam Nicola, you yourself, Shipra, Suzuki, alike-minded peoples around the world is there. So if we take the combined united initiative, we'll reach there. Yeah, please.
First of all, I would like to say something to Ms. Suzuki. Yes, your organization can give us help us a lot because Japan is the second largest donor to Bangladesh.
Ms. Suzuki, do you want to tell us a few words on this, on what Ranavir said?
Yes, I'm very interested in helping in that way. And interreligious cooperation is, I think, is very important to collect forces. So I'm also a member of the World Conference of Religions for Peace. So, but I will do my best gradually because I'm not sure what is happening in Bangladesh. So, and how to collect religious forces. So, I will do my best.
And that is also, I believe, one of the tools. More peoples of this kind or alike mentality knows each other, can unite it together, can make a difference in this world. So that's why what I do, I'll try to make a forum kinds of, and we are also, trying to make a what do we say, mindful, MSBR, mindful meditation. So also we are going to make a class over there. If anybody interested in, please will join us. And we have a Facebook group, and we have also a website. Do share with you the link of Nirban Kami Facebook group, and Nirban Kami website is there. And I will also email each of you about cited incidents with facts and figures. So you will learn better, you know better about the incidents, these particular incidents, and then you can react, or you can, you can write a letter, or you can talk to your your friends who probably can make a change, can talk to the government. You see what I'm saying? Can make a difference. Yeah, Nicola, please, please, ma'am.
We have a vote coming up in Switzerland now at the end of this month to the global initiative that the companies that are based in Switzerland should keep and practice human rights with all the things they buy and the business they do. I hope this will pass because I think it will be a beginning actually for the world.
There is another incident coming on 20th under the name of the Bengali coalition. But as I mentioned, there is a lot of mischief, like Advocate Ranadash Gupta, and I'm a supporter of what Hindu Bengali coalition is doing, but again, protest against any mischief like Advocate Ranadash Gupta. But the oncoming 20th November, there is another Zoom meeting like this one, which will talk about numerous incidents happening in Bangladesh. So I would like to invite all of you over there, and Mr. Arun Datta will be the host, I believe, over there, and he gave you his email address. But I will strongly protest again. Advocate Ranadash Gupta should not be appreciated, invited over there. If it is, that's like a big no-no, a big conflict, right? I feel bad when my people stand against us, but I think this is a time we have to explain this to this world. It is shameful. It is shameful to say our people are doing bad for us. But if we don't explain this world don't know about it, and then what happens? Outside people misunderstood the facts. Like I gave you the example beforehand, when we send a report to United States ambassador probably, and then ambassador conduct the government, and government send on behalf of Buddhist community or Hindu community a person, and that person is mischief, he is giving a wrong, false statement, nothing is wrong, is what I'm saying? So that's a bad, big no-no.
On 20th in our meeting, Global Bengali Hindu Coalition meeting, Zoom meeting,
yes,
I'll bring some Bangladeshi, those who are personally violated. Some women and men, those who are personally violated in Bangladesh, they will be here and they will speak about their stories, painful stories they had to go through.
Fantastic.
So I'd like to invite everybody to join there. Then you will know how painful things are back home, especially for the women.
And recently you have seen that we did a lot of protests here and there in all over world, we say. We did in Switzerland, we did in France, we did it in Korea, we did it in India, we did it inside Bangladesh, even though they don't let us do that. But we are still trying. We're still trying, and there's a lot of it going on. So that makes us hopeful. That makes us hopeful that we can stood for them, we can stand for them. Is what I'm saying. So hopefully we can find out a solution. We can do a resolution out of all those activities of each of you. Mr. Rana Borua, yes, please.
Everybody join the Zoom meeting in the group. So actually, my heart, I listen to what you say, everybody, and also I see in what is going on in Bangladesh. So I'm sorry about that. Is one thing they don't have any heart, because how can they attack in minority in Bangladesh every day in also is very dangerous attack. So they don't have any government. So government they don't work here. Is you say Black Lives Matter, right? Here they take the action. So how can Bangladesh every day is doing like this dangerous effect in minority, and also government they don't have a heart? I'm thinking about that. How can do that? I'm very sorry. Like Thera, they have a lot of children living there. They don't have it right now. They have a legal paper about the current electricity. They have a legal paper, but government or area people, they disconnect to the electricity. Their level is still some children
How can they do that? This is very dangerous. Too much broken human in the world. Everybody needs to think about that. They need to put a heart. So I'm sorry about that. Thank you very much.
I
Okay.
am Sujan from Dhaka,
Okay.
and requesting to all of the people, we want justice only, not
Okay.
that is the way of others. We want justice only, and please work for that. Like not getting any result, that is the big issue, not
Right.
the others. We cannot get any result till now from 2, 3, 4 months later, who is occurring, but not getting any result till now. So please work something and do something and tell something to our Prime Minister or any or else can we get a result for the justice.
Right.
Thank you. Thanks to all.
Anytime you guys knows my email address, you knows my phone, and you knows my WhatsApp number, so you can call me free anytime, 24/7. I will be at your service. Okay. So have everybody a good time, and I really pray for you. World will become a wonderful place to live. Thank you very much for all of your participation.